I want to introduce you to some of the high priests of the new religion, as Bertrand Russell called them. One of them is a filmmaker named Paul Schrader. He said, "We are there in Hollywood to thumb our nose at your values. We don't care if you like us. We don't like you. People think that Hollywood has principles, morals, and values. It doesn't." I appreciate his honesty. Another one said, "Movies are powerful. Good or bad, they tinker around inside your brain. They steal up on you in the darkness of the cinema to form or," what's that next word there? Conform. That's in Romans 12, right? To form or conform social attitudes. In short, cinema is propaganda. Couldn't agree more. Another filmmaker said, "I always like to think of it as like, I've got them sitting there, whip a little message at them, whip a little moral at them, whip a little of what my view of the world is, because that's what every good filmmaker does." Now that probably shouldn't surprise us, right? The filmmaker, the musician, the artist, the influencer is trying to get across something that they believe in, right? Everybody has beliefs. They get a soapbox that they can preach from, and they present their ideas. So it's not a surprise that he says every good filmmaker is presenting their worldview. What's notable about the quotation is we're whipping it at them. And while under a highly suggestible state, as we saw earlier with the Alpha, the founder of MTV got this even more serious when he said, "The strongest appeal you can make is emotionally. If you can get their emotions going, make them forget their logic, you've got them." That's exactly what we were talking about earlier with what this worldly music does. He says this is exactly what we're trying to do. We make that appeal to people, particularly to the young. He said at MTV, we don't shoot for the 14-year-olds, we own them. Now, I used to share quotations like this with even public school students, even before I was in the Present Truth and preaching messages. That kind of quote, and Edward Bernays and Bertrand Russell, I had secular students who would be like, no you don't. I'm not going to just submit myself to somebody who's bragging about how they're going to own me. So any individual, self-respecting, autonomous individual will resent that and say, I want to break free from that. But then how much more when we have the recognition of the dignity that the Creator has endowed us with, that we are image bearers of Him, and that we don't want to be deceived because eternal life is on the line if we go into this mass and we become part of this conformed group, and then we follow the wandering after the beast off of the cliff unto the abyss of destruction. I don't want to go there. Jesus is worth it, not only for eternal life and the reward and the joy of that, but He's worth it just out of my conscience and duty to live for Him because He's done so much for me.